Now you can see it is downloaded. So you can right click that, open that folder. Open that zip file location where it is downloaded. So in my case, you can see it has downloaded somewhere here, Eclipse, Juno, SR2, some _64. So it will be downloaded into downloads folder. Just right click that and copy that zip file. Right click that and copy that zip file. So let me write those steps. The .zip file will be downloaded into downloads folder. It will be downloaded into downloads folder. Just right click that folder. Right click that zip file and copy and paste that .zip file under C or D directory. You copy that .zip file and paste that .zip file under C or D directory based on your choice. So let me do that. I'm trying to copy that and I'm going to computer. In that I'm going to, for example, C directory here. I'm going to C directory. Under that you can right click and paste it. So just right click and paste it. So when you paste it, you will get this. After pasting, what you need to do is, this is a .zip file. So right click here and extract. Right click that zip file and extract here. So when you do like that, one Eclipse folder will be created. You can see now. When you unzip that zip file, one Eclipse folder will be created. So now you can see an Eclipse folder is created here. So let me write that. Right click .zip file and extract here. Extract here. You have to choose that option. Extract here, you have to choose that option. So Eclipse folder will be created. So Eclipse folder will be created automatically. So please notice that. When you right click zip file and when you extract, then Eclipse folder will be created automatically. So after generating that folder, you can see when you double click that folder, you will get eclipse.exe file. After generating that Eclipse folder, if you double click that Eclipse folder, you will get eclipse.exe file. Just double click that, so it will open your Eclipse tool. When you double click, then it will open Eclipse tool. Double click Eclipse folder and then double click on eclipse.exe file. Double click on Eclipse folder, then double click on eclipse.exe file. Then what happens is it opens Eclipse tool. It opens Eclipse tool. So in my case, I've already installed, so I need not worry about these things. So you can see now, in my case, I've already installed that under something like this one here. In my case, there is a Eclipse extracted folder. Under that, there is an Eclipse. Under that, you can see eclipse.exe file. Eclipse.exe file. When you double click now, if you want to create a shortcut, you can right click and send to desktop. Then it will create a shortcut. You can right click Eclipse and then send to desktop. Then it will create one shortcut icon. So when you double click that, then it opens an Eclipse Juno tool. Just click on OK button here. So let me write that meanwhile. So it opens Eclipse tool when you click on eclipse.exe file. So remember that. So that means it will open this one. This is an Eclipse tool now. This is an Eclipse tool, and but by default it will install general or plain Eclipse tool. By default, Eclipse doesn't contain any SAP UI5 plugins. When you install Eclipse, under Eclipse there won't be any SAP UI5 plugins. So you need to add SAP UI5 plugins to this tool. Let me write here. It opens Eclipse tool. That means it's a plain tool without SAP UI5 plugins. It opens without any SAP UI5 plugin. So what you need to do is, if you want to go for SAP UI5 development, then you need to add the plugins. If you want to go for SAP UI5 development, then you can add some SAP UI5 plugins. So let me write the procedure to add SAP UI5 plugins to Eclipse tool to support UI5 development. Now you need to add SAP UI5 plugins to Eclipse tool. We have to add this UI5 plugins compulsory to Eclipse tool in order to support UI5 development. So how to do that? Very simple. Open eclipse.exe file, or I can say open Eclipse tool. So you'll get like this. After opening Eclipse tool, you'll get like this. But in this, what you need to do is you need to go to you need to go to help. You need to go to help and click on install new software. You have to go to help, then install new software. So let me write that. Install new software. Then it will open the screen. under this screen, you need to provide one link here. You need to provide one link for installing UI5 plugins. You can see this. So this is the link you need to provide. This is the link you need to provide here in order to install SAP UI5 plugins inside Eclipse. You can install ABAP development tools, HANA development tools, UI5 development, etc., etc. So in our case, SAP UI5 development is important here. In our case, you need to select SAP UI5 Development Toolkit for HTML5. So you need to provide this. Provide link equal to something like this. And select UI5 Development option. Select UI5 development option and click on next, click on finish. That's it. Click on next, click finish, then it will add UI5 plugins. In my system, they are already available, so I'm not going to do further because after selecting UI5 development option, just you need to click on next and finish. So with this procedure, we are going to add UI5 plugins to Eclipse tool. So you have to select that UI5 development, SAP UI5 development, and just click on next, click on finish. So, but in my case, they are already available, so I'm not going to do anything further because they are already available in my tool. But what is the guarantee that the UI5 plugins are successfully added or not? What is the guarantee that UI5 plugins are added to Eclipse tool or not? So let us understand that. To check whether SAP UI5 plugins are added to Eclipse or not, then what you need to do is open Eclipse tool and choose help. You can see there is a help option and go to about Eclipse. Under help option, you have to go to about Eclipse. So let me write it. So then you will find SAP UI5 option. So you can see now I'm going to help about Eclipse, and you will get this screen. Under this screen you can see there is SAP UI5 plugins. If UI5 plugins are added, then you'll get this folder here. You will get that particular folder. Under about Eclipse, you will get SAP UI5. Now SAP developers can develop UI5 applications using Eclipse tool. By default, UI5 is not possible in Eclipse. So we have to add the plugins, then you can start developing UI5 applications once if this is available. So that is SAP UI5 plugin. So that means now Eclipse can support UI5 development. So that is a procedure. The first thing what we have done is, first we have installed Eclipse. First we have installed Eclipse. After installing Eclipse, what we have done is, we have added UI5 plugins to Eclipse. We have added UI5 plugins to Eclipse. So finally, you will find SAP UI5 option. Now, say for example, I want to create a simple SAP UI5 project. I want to create SAP UI5 project in Eclipse. So how to do that? How to do that? So you can see here, under Eclipse, you can see File, New, Other section. Under Eclipse, you have to go to File, New, Other section here. Under Other section, you need to choose SAP UI5 Application Development. You have to choose SAP UI5 Application Development. Under that, you can choose Application Project. You have to choose Application Project. Don't worry about all the options. In different examples, we'll understand different options. And here, you have to provide some project name. You can provide some project name. Don't worry about other options. Just provide project name and click on next here and provide some view name, for example, first view. I'm providing view name as first view here. And when you click on next, when you click on finish, then it will try to create one. It will try to create one project here and it will create some files. Don't be panic. I'll make you understand each and every point. But now you can see 9 p.m. online UI5 project is created and it is created with some view and one controller and one index file. It has created first view and first view controller and it has created one index file here. So let me write those steps. Open Eclipse tool, then choose File, New, Other, then cell expand SAP UI5 development and choose application project. You have to choose application project, then click on next and provide project name. Provide some project name. Then provide project name, then provide something like view name equal to, for example, first view. Then click on next and finish. Click on next and click on finish. So with this, we get some, we will get one project folder. In that, one view will be available, one controller will be available, and one index file will be available. So this is a very basic procedure to create a UI5 project in Eclipse. So because of that, you'll get first view controller, and index file. We'll understand in detail, don't worry now. Say for example, in this project, I want to create one more view. In this project, I want to create one more view. Then you can right click this project and you can click on New, Other section here. So I mean to say, in single project, we can create any number of views. In single project, you can create any number of views. So you can right click project here, new, other section. Under other section, you have to choose view category here. You have to choose view and click on next here and provide some view name, for example, second view. For example, second view. Then don't worry about all these things. I'll make you understand, but you can see a second view is created along with second view controller. Second view is created along with second view controller. And similarly, if required, you can create a third view. You can create a third view. For example, I'm selecting view. I'm providing something like third view. Third view, and you can click on finish here. Then it will create two more options like third view and third view controller. So what I mean to say is you can create any number of views, but every view contains one controller. You can create any number of views and every view contains one controller. So you can see that now. Here you can see there is a first view. First view contains a first view controller. And there is a second view here. Second view contains second view controller. And there is a third view, and there is a third view controller. You can create any number of views, and each view contains one separate controller. And of course, by default, there will be index file here. So first, let me write that. This UI5 development is very easy compared to normal ABAP screens. The only thing is you need to follow step-by-step procedure properly. So here, under single UI5 project, we can create any number of views. So what exactly is a view? View is nothing but a screen here. View is nothing but equal to a screen. View in UI5 or view in Fiori, it is nothing but a screen. Don't get confused. So under single UI5 project, we can create any number of views, and each view contains one view controller. Each view contains a view controller. So that means in front-end UI5 or Fiori development, you will find view as well as controller. Now, this is the right time to understand. We are going to develop applications in the coming classes, but let me explain what exactly is MVC architecture here. Now you'll get more clarity on this. So MVC architecture is nothing but a model view controller architecture. It is a model view controller architecture. Now just follow this diagram. This is important diagram now for today's class. You can see till now we have created OData ABAP services. So in general, OData services generally contains database operations here. You write whatever code you want, but we generally write database operations under OData ABAP services. We generally write database operations in OData ABAP services here, and definitely it is going to connect to this OData ABAP services can be used for connecting to something like SAP ECC or SAP CRM or SAP SCM or SAP SRM, etc. So under OData services, you can write the code to interact with any SAP backend system. We can write the code under OData ABAP services to interact with any SAP system. So whatever code you write in OData service, technically according to MVC, we consider it as a model. So OData service is nothing but a model according to MVC. I mean to say your database operations comes under business functionality here. So model, it is nothing but a business functionality here. Or I can say business logic. In simple words, I can say whatever OData services you have created, they are going to act as a model according to MVC. So not only this, there can be OData external services. There can be OData external services. And of course, it also contains database operations. And OData external services are generally used to connect to third-party systems or non-SAP systems here. It connects to third-party systems or non-SAP systems. So you need not worry. You are not going to develop external services. The corresponding developers will develop. You need not worry about external services. But the purpose of external services is to connect to third-party systems or non-SAP systems. But technically, according to MVC, we consider OData external service also as a model, and it is going to have a business logic. In technical words, OData external service also acts as a model in MVC architecture. And not only that, there can be OData HANA services. And OData HANA services also mainly contains database operations. And in technical words, OData HANA service also acts like a model. That means it contains a business logic. So this is how it looks like. OData HANA service, and it can interact with HANA system. One second. Who is having audio problem? Okay, everyone is having audio connected, no problem. So now you can see this is how it looks like. So a model according to MVC can be OData ABAP service, It can be OData external service or it can be OData HANA service. So let me write that note here. So model represents database operations. So technically we call it as business logic. And OData ABAP service acts as a model. In our technology, OData ABAP service acts as a model. And OData external service also can be treated as a model according to MVC. Or OData HANA service can also act as a model. So notice this point. Model means it contains database operations, and that technically we call it as business logic. So in our case, we write our database operations at OData level. We write database operations at OData level. Now, not only that, you can see here, we are going to make use of data transfer here. We have to perform data transfer. That means we can send data and we can receive data. We send data and we receive data, and data transfer is taken care by controller. We send data, we receive the data, but that is the responsibility of a controller here, according to MVC. So controller will take care of data transfer for sending or receiving. And there will be a view here. So there can be a view, and that means we are going to design the screen. We are going to design the screen by using screen elements. We are going to design the screen by using screen elements like table or tab strip, drop down, etc., etc., or checkbox, radio button, checkbox, etc., graph. There are several things. We are going to understand all those things in the coming classes. So all these things, screen designing using screen elements, so that technically we call it as a view here. Technically we call it as a view according to MVC. And I can say controller will send and receive the data between your model and a view. Controller can send and receive the data between model and a view. Can send and receive the data between model and a view. So let me write that here. So controller acts as a mediator. It acts as a mediator between model and view. And controller is responsible for data transfer between model and view. So that is the job of controller. And V represents view here. So view is going to represent screens or a screen. So screens, technically we call it as presentation logic here. The screen designing and the code related to screen designing comes under presentation logic. Screen designing and the code related to screen designing comes under presentation logic here. So view represents screen and that technically known as presentation logic. And I can say view is responsible for displaying data using screen elements. And view is also responsible for accepting data using screen elements. View is responsible for displaying the data and it is also responsible for accepting the data, but you can display data, you can accept the data, but ultimately using screen elements. You can accept the data, you can display the data in a view using screen elements. So what I mean to say is, okay, let me complete this diagram. So I can say here this part, this controller and view will be technically part of our SAP UI5 application. It will be generally part of SAP UI5 application. OData service will be in SEGW and controller and view will be part of UI5 application. And don't forget here, controller can also send and receive the data from external services. It can send and receive the data via external services. And SAP UI5 applications can also send and receive the data from HANA data services. Can send and receive the data from HANA services also. And your controller and view can be part of SAP UI5 application, but you can use the same UI5, you can use the same controller view as part of our SAP Fiori. It can also be part of SAP Fiori. So just let me make it more meaningful. So your controller and view can be part of SAP Fiori application here. You can notice that. And SAP Fiori application also can interact with OData ABAP services, can interact with HANA external, it can interact with OData external services, it can send and receive the data from HANA services also. UI5 application or Fiori application, they can interact with any type of OData service, ABAP OData service, external service, or HANA service. And most importantly, I can say the application can be, an application can be a third-party application like a Java, .NET, etc. An application can be a Java, .NET application, and it contains a controller along with a view. It can be third-party application like .NET or Java or PHP, whatever. So these .NET, Java, PHP applications also contains controller view, and they can interact with OData ABAP services. They can interact with external services, and they can interact with HANA services here. So what I mean to say is model may be in one programming language, the screens can be in another programming language. Database operations is in one programming language, the screen designing may be in another programming language. So everything becomes, model, view becomes totally independent. Model and view becomes independent, and moreover, these things can be reusable. If you follow MVC architecture, your model can be reused in UI5 application, Fiori application, and third-party applications. Once if you create a model, that means once if you create OData service, that OData service becomes reusable in different front-end applications if you follow MVC architecture. So let me write a simple note here. According to MVC architecture, business logic and presentation logic are separated. According to MVC architecture, business logic and presentation logic are separated, so we can achieve reusability. That is the only advantage here. We can achieve reusability. So these last 6-7 points, they are very important. When you are attending interview, you should know what is model, what is controller, what is view, and what happens if you follow MVC, and what is advantage. So these things are very, very important, and it should be on your fingertips. These things should be on your fingertips. And this diagram should be in your mind always. So what I'll do is, from tomorrow's class onwards, we'll try to go in detail and we'll try to start developing our screens. We will try to develop the screens. After that, we'll try to get the data from SAP system via OData services. Okay, I'll stop for today. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Hello students, are you able to follow the concept?
Hello.
Yeah, Harshal.
Sir, if we want to change existing Fiori application,
Okay.
so that application we need to deploy to the Eclipse.
We can import into Eclipse, or we can do it using WebID tool. There is one more tool we are going to use it, that is WebID tool.
Okay.
For Fiori customization and enhancements, we generally use Web ID. Web ID is a separate tool. When I go for Fiori, I'll discuss about that.
Okay, sir. Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Then what about others? Any doubts?
Yeah, Vijay Ajit here.
Yeah, Ajit.
I have created one project and I'm trying to fetch the data from the entity set, but two values I'm passing the values like in the select query so that the two values it will filter and get the data, but it is not taking both the values. It is
In
showing some
OData, in
error.
OData level, you're talking about OData.
Yeah, you know data. Can you just
Uh,
open that project and check once?
tell me your project name so that I'll try to test it offline.
ZAZ underscore project underscore one.
Z
AJ
AJ.
underscore project underscore one.
Okay, I'll just check with AJ star underscore star.
Mhm.
You have any general doubts? I'll verify this. So what is the problem?
Problem
What's the
is I am
problem?
giving two values in the gateway client, but it is
Okay,
showing always bad request, but data is not coming. But when I am passing one value, the data is coming.
okay, I'll verify that. Then, but
Okay.
what is the error you are getting so that I can
Bad
search it
request
out?
only. It is telling only bad request always.
Okay, I'll verify that. Then, any other doubts?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, hello.
Sir, is there any concept like within Pro? Is there any other controller concept
No.
like
WebDim Pro
window
has nothing
concept?
to do with this one. WebDim Pro has nothing to do with that. WebDim Pro architecture is totally different. It also follows MVC, but the screen designing, the functionality, syntaxes, they are totally different. Don't compare this with WebDim Pro. Because WebDim Pro is server-side eventing, your UI5 Fiori applications are client-side eventing. So there is a lot of difference in the architecture internally. Both will follow MVC, but technicality-wise, there are several differences. Why?
Can I get the
Because
internal architecture?
WebDim Pro is purely a server-side eventing. Okay. So SAP UI5 and Fiori, they are client-side eventing. Okay, so please notice that. A lot of difference.
So, is there any concept regarding window?
We don't have window controller in UI5. Window controller exists in WebDim Pro, not in UI5 and Fiori.
Okay.
Are you getting my
Okay,
point?
sir.
We have a view concept, controller concept, container concept, but we don't have window concept anywhere in UI5 and Fiori. Window concept is applicable in WebDim Pro.
Sir,
Okay, then what?
can I get the internal architecture idea
For what?
for UI5 MVC architecture, internal architecture,
Internal
how it
architecture is
is
this one
designed?
only. This is how we generally use. We
This is
consume the
this
model.
is only the overall idea.
Yeah.
But how can means how the data passes? What are the elements between the controller and the services?
That we are going to discuss in the coming classes. The next 20 classes will be on how we develop, how data is passed, how we display on the screen. That will come into picture in the next 20 classes.
Okay. Okay,
Okay,
sir.
but this is
Thanks.
the today's class. Today's class is just like overview of what is MVC, but how we implement in applications. That is the coming part. How we implement controller, how we consume model, how we design the screen. So while designing screen, we use different options. While consuming the data, we use different options. So everything will be discussed in detail in the coming classes. Okay, right. Then what about others?
Vijay Sunil.
Okay, Sunil.
Sunil.
Yeah.
Vijay, I just wanted to know while we are going to develop this UI5 are we going to use any language like ABAP, or is it a tool basically?
We are going to use
Are we going to
scriptings.
do coding?
We are going to
Okay.
write the code. We are going to write the code, but it will be scripting code. So scripting syntaxes we are going to use, and I'll be explaining syntax 1, syntax 2, everything in detail.
Okay.
Scripting syntaxes, that means scripting code we are going to use. So what is scripting, how it works? So that will be the coming story.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
And what
Hi
about
Vijay,
others?
Praveen this side.
Okay.
Yeah, sir, I have a general doubt here. If we develop any OData service, can we download it as a Nugget file?
When you develop it as?
When we develop an OData service, and can we download that OData service as a Nugget file? Usually we do it for Web Pro also, right?
Okay, I'm not sure. I think that option is not available. I'm not sure about that.
Because the practice that I'm doing in my company sandbox, I'm not really using the sandbox that you have provided. So I wanted to know if I can send that project to you as a
I'm not
Nugget
sure
file or
about
anything like
that.
that.
I'm not sure how to download that. I think try to check in ZSAP link in SC38.
Yeah, that's the
Try
program we have for the Nugget file.
try to use ZSAP link and try to check whether there is any download option for SCGW programs or not.
Okay, sir, I'll check.
Okay.
Yeah, thank
Try
you.
with SC38 ZSAP link program.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, thank you.
Then what about others? Swadhin, Surya,
Yeah,
Tina,
Vijay, Ravi.
yeah, Ravi.
Vijay, we are using HTML5 and JavaScript, or are we going to use AngularJS also?
We are going to use HTML, CSS scripting, and we are going to consume ABAP services.
Okay, we are not using any AngularJS and all
All
framework.
those things, there are several frameworks, but we generally don't use.
Okay.
Main thing will be based on HTML, CSS scripting, and consuming ABAP services.
Okay. Whatever the data we are developed in the model, like OData ABAP services, we will integrate into the model classes.
We are going to integrate into UI5 application by creating a model object.
Okay.
We are going to create a model object, and we are going to establish a connection between UI5 frontend and backend OData service.
Okay, Vijay. Okay.
Yeah. Then
Okay, thanks.
Rakshit, Venkat, Tanmay, Sagar, Rohit, any doubts?
Hi, sir. Rohit here.
Yeah, Rohit.
Yes, sir. Just a general question. Previously you mentioned that UI5 is a stateful, and also that WebDen Pro is a stateful. So what that exactly
No.
mean?
Stateful, UI5 is stateless.
Okay,
UI5 is
sorry.
stateless, not stateful.
So what
So
that exactly means? Yeah.
stateful means the code will be executed in server machine. Stateless means the code will be executed within the browser in the client machine.
Okay, but actually, means at the back end we are consuming the OData services only. So OData services are belong to the back end only. So means this I'm not able to get this point. This all the data manipulations are done at the back end only. So how is it stateless?
Why do you think application contains only data manipulation? Why don't you think about screen design and screen related functionalities works in the client itself? Only for database operation, the server will take care. The remaining things are executed within the browser. Are you getting my point? So
Okay.
application doesn't contain only database operations. It contains validations. It contains screen design coding. It contains some events. It contains functions. So all those things will be executed in the front end without sending any request to the server.
Okay. And once
Server is involved only in case of database interaction. But there are several things other than database operations, like screen designing, screen functionalities, validations. So all those things are executed in the client itself. So that's the reason why we call it as stateless.
Okay. And one more thing, I have just gone through the SCN document. So there is some analytical fact sheets and three type of they have provided the applications. So is we are also developing those type of application means we can
That,
configure
they are
means
standard
categorize them as
applications. They are standard applications,
okay.
analytical applications, transactional, fact sheet applications. These things comes under Fiori part, not in custom UI5 part. That comes under Fiori
Oh,
part. In Fiori, we have three types of applications: transactional, analytical, and fact sheet. When we start Fiori, then we'll understand more in detail about that.
okay, Vijay. Thank you,
Yeah.
Vijay.
Then Srikanth, Soumendra.
Vijay, Naveen here.
Hello?
Hello,
Yeah. Who is this?
Vijay, Naveen here.
Okay.
Vijay, I have sent out an email. I mean, not related to, the content which I have discussed earlier, but related to the launchpad. Can you please reply that?
I'll just check your mail. I'll check your mail and I'll respond back.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Okay. Then Mukund.
Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Hi, Vijay. Sorry this side. Actually, today's I'm not able to attend. I was not able to attend the class. Just now I joined. So, how I can proceed this? Today's class.
Just what you do is just try to think about this one. You can see I gave step-by-step procedure. In today's class, I
Okay.
just explained how to install Eclipse and how to add UI5 plugins. Just go according to this note file.
Okay. It's only theory part. Yeah, practical
It is
also.
totally theory. It is totally theory. There is no practical part involved in today's class.
Okay. Okay. Fine. If is there any doubt, then I'll let you know. Okay.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Okay. Thank
Just
you. Thanks a lot.
I was concentrating on what is MVC theoretically and how to create a simple UI5 project and how to install Eclipse and how to add UI5 plugins. So just it is all about theory, but it is also important. Just go through according to this note file.
Okay. Fine. Yeah. Thanks a
Then
lot. Yeah.
Mohan, Shashikiran,
Vijay, one more question, Rohit here.
let me go to others. Rohit, let
Okay.
me give chance to others. And then Ajit, I think I covered him. Aslam, Dheeraj, Gaurav.
Hi, sir. This is Peter. Sir, I have two general questions, very general.
Okay.
Sir, like in Web Intro, we have declarative like that means we just declare a button and just provide some name and then after it works. So, is there something here in also UI5 like or we have to code everything manually?
We are going to write the coding part, definitely. We are going to create button, we are going to create action, and in that action, we are going to write the code.
So means we have to write for everything we have to write some line of code. Means
Exactly,
there
yes,
is no
yes,
wizard,
yes.
nothing.
We have to write the code, but that code will be very simple. The total screen designing depends on two syntaxes only. So I don't think it will be a problem for writing the code.
Sir, the other question is, sir, I have heard somewhere that Web ID only works with HANA. Is it true or not?
No, it's not like that.
Web ID.
Web ID tool can be installed locally. HANA has nothing to do with Web ID.
Okay.
Your Web ID
Okay.
tool can be installed locally also. So that I'll explain when I go for
Okay.
Fiori part.
So
In Fiori part, I'm going to explain
yes,
how
sir.
to set up Web ID tool, but Web ID tool can be installed locally without any HANA system or HANA related option.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Then what about others?
Vijay, this is Gaurav. Yeah,
Yeah,
I have a
Gaurav.
question regarding, as in the diagram you have shown two different like SAP UI5 and Fiori. You have differentiated in the diagram, but as far as I know, both are following the same architecture. So why
Exactly.
you have?
Yes. Yes, they are going to follow same architecture, but my intention is to say that the same. My intention is to say the same thing. Both follows MVC.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
So
just
in this
okay.
diagram, there is no difference in UEFI and Fiori. Both follows MVC architecture.
Okay.
Are you getting my
So
point?
okay.
Diagrammatically, I wrote UI5 as separate, Fiori as separate, but both follow MVC.
Okay, but I mean, Fury are more or less like a standard kind of applications, right?
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay, fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Then
And the other question is like, are we going to use any server for Eclipse or we will use a inbuilt server like
Eclipse is
Tomcat?
not, we need not worry about that because we are going to install, we are going to develop. I'll tell you how to test those applications. Tomcat is
Mhm.
not mandatory here. Tomcat is
Oh,
not required. We can test our applications within the Eclipse itself. Are you getting my point?
okay.
Within the Eclipse, we can test those applications and we deploy these applications
Hmm.
into SAP UI5 ABAP repository. So
Okay, okay.
this is what we are going to do it. Okay. So that
Oh.
part I'll be covering. Don't worry. Okay. Just wait
Mhm.
for a few more days so that you'll get more clarity on how to develop and how to deploy.
Okay, yeah, fine.
Yeah. Then,
Yeah, Vijay Mohan here.
yeah, Mohan.
Okay, before we start installing and using the Eclipse, I strongly believe that we need to install the Java SDK kit, right?
If it is not available, then you can install
What version that we need to download?
J2 SDK, JDK, something like you can install JDK 1.7 or I think 7.
Well, yeah, so 7 is the lowest version, right? We can even download 8 also fine, right?
Exactly, yes.
1.8.
So
Yeah.
what you do is first install Eclipse, then it will ask for which version of JDK is required. Based on that, you can install.
Right, thanks.
Yeah. First install Eclipse. If you face any problem, let me know, then we can provide solution.
Okay.
Okay, then Mahidhar, Satya Sunil, Raja, Rahul, any doubts?
Sir, Saroj here.
Yeah, Saroj.
Sir, actually, it is not asking for which version of Java JDK is to be installed.
JDK, you can install with JDK 7 or JDK 8, something like that.
I will download from Google itself.
Now, yeah, you can download. First, what you do is first install Eclipse. It will
Yeah,
ask
I
for
have already installed.
first install Eclipse. After that, it will ask for JDK version. So whatever the version it is asking, install that.
No, sir, I have already installed, but it is not telling which version is required.
Then try with JDK 7.
Okay, I will go, download from JDK 7 from
Yeah,
Google.
you can directly download from Google itself.
Okay,
Vijay, I
sir.
have mentioned the JDK version in chat box. You can use that one.
You can use 7 also. It need not require 8. You can also install 7. Yeah, then Sheshu, Srikanth, Sumit, Sumit, Tanmay, any doubts? So Aslam, Fiori screens, they are majority of the Fiori screens are standard screens. There is some disturbance. There is some problem in your machine. Please try to check that.